braving the humidity and heat to be here in our air-conditioned studio. I have to say, I love air conditioning. If there's one thing I learned over the last 2 weeks, it's that I love air conditioning more than any person, any invention. I even looked it up today. The man who invented air conditioning was a genius named Willis Carrier. He was an American born in Angola, New York, for real, a town named after an African country where it's very hot. He designed the air conditioner in 1902. He put it on display at the World's Fair in 1939. They said, come visit the igloo, and people would go in and be cold and comfortable and just wonderful. You know, he was married 3 times, never had any children. So, ironically, he never had anyone to yell at for leaving the door open while the air was on. But he also, and I know this is going to sound like a joke, it's not, you can look it up. On his deathbed, he coined the phrase, "It will be a cold day in hell." That came from Willis Carrier, the greatest man who ever lived. So, may God bless him and everyone he loved, Willis. I say this because I didn't have air conditioning for a couple of nights over the break, and it was terrible. It really was. Hey, do you want to see a few of my vacation photos? Okay. It would be funny if you guys went, no, not really. So my family and I, my wife and my kids, my mother, my father, my brother, my sister, niece, nephew, the whole thing went to Italy over the break. We went to a beautiful island not far from Naples called Ischia. This is where my great-grandparents were born. My great-grandfather, oh, that's Ischia right there. I think my brother took this picture with the panorama thing. My great-grandfather was a man named Vincenzo Iacano, as they call it. That is him. Button on his shirt popped open at the stomach. That's what happens when the food is good. He married Maria Lombardi, my great-grandmother. She's the shorter one there. I found out my great-grandmother spoke 7 languages. And if she was anything like the rest of my family, she spoke all of them at once, simultaneously. So Vincenzo and Maria were born and lived in a lovely little town that we visited for the first time. None of us had ever been there. It's called Casamicciola. This is the church they were married in, Santa Maria Maddalena. That's the inside of the church right here. We went to Mass there, and that was very nice. This is my daughter, Jane, eating pizza on her birthday. She ate everything in sight. Do 1-year-olds eat pizza? And finally, this is a picture of my father sleeping by the Mediterranean Sea. And that was our summer vacation. By the way, in a nutshell, I dropped my phone into that sea, and I wasn't able to get a new one until today. I had no phone for 4 days, and to be perfectly honest, I'm lucky to be alive. I really am. I was lost. I couldn't Google anything. I kept trying to take pictures with my thumb and nothing. My wife actually shot some video of me losing the phone in the water. It was crazy the way it happened. Look at this. So I was surfing. That's me. And then the shark, out of nowhere, a shark attacked me. And I punched at it hard. And my phone, I think it got lodged down its throat or something. I was under it for quite a while. And I swam. I started swimming as fast as I could. And then there were some dudes on one of those things, and they picked me up, and I lived. Hey, you know, gives me an idea. Maybe we should enter Donald Trump in a surf competition. Even if he doesn't get eaten by a shark, it would be worth it to see him with his hair wet, right? It has been a disastrous few days for Donald Trump's fake presidential campaign. As you may have heard, on Saturday, Trump appeared at something called the Family Leadership Summit in Iowa, where he had some very unkind words for Arizona Senator John McCain.
I supported him. He lost. He let us down. But, you know, he lost. So I never liked him as much after that, because I don't like losers. But Frank, let me get to it. He hit me. He's not a war hero. He's a war hero. He's a war hero.
5.5 years.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you.
Do you agree with that?
He's a war hero because he was captured, okay?
Can you imagine being tortured for 5.5 years in a Vietnamese prison camp? The Vietnamese offer to release you. You say, no, not until you release the other Americans who've been here longer than I have. And then 42 years later, the host of Celebrity Apprentice, a man who, the closest he ever got to battle was a fight with Rosie O'Donnell. A man who's arguably his greatest wartime accomplishment was brokering a peace treaty between Gary Busey and Meatloaf. Belittles you and calls you a loser. Although, in fairness, I should say Donald Trump had a very good reason for not fighting in the Vietnam War himself.
Why did you not serve in the Vietnam War? And can you explain that?
College, had student deferments, and it's a long time ago. Had student deferments, then ultimately had a medical deferment because of my feet. I had a bone spur.
Oh, all right. Well, it was either a Dr. Scholl's foot pad or a deferment, and he bravely chose the deferment. So The lesson here is heroism comes in many forms. And somehow, at the end of this comedy routine, or whatever the hell it is he's doing, some of the nuts in the audience gave him a standing ovation.
Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. See, I get a standing ovation. Other people don't.
You ever get the feeling like maybe his parents didn't encourage him enough or something? I mean, who says that? Donald Trump says a lot of crazy things, and since it's very hot outside, we decided to make this into a game that covers two bases. It's called Say It or Spray It. Let's go to the wall right now. Wow, look at that. My cousin Sal is out on Hollywood Boulevard. Hello, cousin Sal. How you doing?
Danny, good. How are you?
I'm doing well. We have some players out there.
We sure do.
All right. Well, here's how this is going to work. I'm going to read a quote, and these people are going to have to tell me if Donald Trump said it, right, or if it's something we made up or took from someplace else. And Sal, what happens if they guess wrong?
If they guess wrong, they will be forced to look at more pictures of your fancy Italy vacation. No, I'm going to spray him with a hose.
Sal was not invited to the vacation, is what he's trying to say. Yeah. All right. Okay, Sal, so here we go. You got a hose. Hold that up. Let's bring in our first contestant, and your name is?
My name is TJ.
Hey, TJ. TJ, you look like you could use a hosing.
No, I'm okay, but...
You're all right. Okay, it is hot out there, though, isn't it?
It's a little warm. It's been a little warm day.
Okay, so you would prefer not to get squirt with the hose?
Probably not, no.
Okay, all right. Well, it's up to you then. Tell me, yes or no, did Donald Trump say this? You think a woman president could take on ISIS? ISIS will never take orders from a woman. Donald Trump, yes or no?
Yes.
You think he did say that? He did not say that. I'm very sorry, TJ, but that's how the game works. Sal, you missed the spot.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yes. All right, thank you for playing, TJ. Hey, Sal, what do they get if they get it right?
They walk off with their head up.
Okay, all right.
It's not fun for me at all.
All right. Bring in someone else here. Let's see who we have. Hi, what's your name?
I'm Laura.
Hi, Laura. Where are you from?
Temecula, California.
Okay, very good. Now, do you know about current events?
I hope so.
Have you been following Donald Trump?
A little bit, yes.
Okay, now your job is to tell me whether this is a real Donald Trump quote or something we made up. Are you ready?
Yes.
I've always been a fan of Steve Jobs, but the yacht he built is truly ugly. Did Donald Trump say that, yes or no?
Yes.
That is correct. He did say that. All right, one more. Let's bring one more up here. And what is your name?
Tate Roussel.
What?
Tate.
Tate, you look a little sweaty. You might get hosed.
Let's try not to make that happen.
All right. Okay, Tate. Tate, the quote is, I have a great relationship with the blacks. I've always had a great relationship with the blacks. Did Donald Trump say that?
No.
Yes, he did. All right, there you go. All right. Well, now get some more contestants, and we'll come back to that. It's a great game. It's we've been on vacation. NBC refused to air Donald Trump's Miss USA pageant this year, and it's a shame because a lot of people didn't get to see this.
Recently, comedian Jerry Seinfeld spoke out against political correctness in our culture. Do you think political correctness is hurting or helping this country, and why?
That's a very good question. I think that it's a balance of both. We definitely need... I'm sorry, may you please repeat the question once more?
Copy that. Recently, comedian Jerry Seinfeld spoke out against political correctness in our culture. Do you think political correctness is hurting or helping this country, and why?
I think that it's a balance of both. We need the people to remind us, especially politicians, to remind us what to do right, when to do wrong. And it's never...
Time's up. Thanks so much, Rhode Island.
The good news is I think Donald Trump may have just found his running mate. Why would the time ever be up? I'd let that go on forever. Okay, let's go back to the wall real quick. Cousin Sal.
Yes.
Hey, Cousin Sal. All right.
The microphone is drenched, so I don't even know if you could hear us. But...
Yeah, we can hear you. No problem. All right. Are you ready for your quote?
I am ready.
What's your name?
Stacy.
Where are you from, Stacy?
Gridley, California.
Here it is. I think that gay marriage is something that should be between a man and a woman. Did Donald Trump say that?
Yes, he did.
Oh, I'm sorry, he didn't. Arnold Schwarzenegger said that, but... All right, there you go. We're going to take a quick break. We come back, an all-new Pluto-themed edition of Eyewitness News, so stick around. Kelly is on the way, but first, I think you'll enjoy this. As I mentioned, we've been on vacation for 2 weeks, and a lot of staffers took trips. Some of them stayed back here with their families. This is from the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Sports Awards. Now, at the end of the clip, I would like you to pay attention to the upper right-hand corner of your screen, and then I'll explain.
The world's greatest athletes have been battling it out for your votes. And tonight, we find out who's going to go home with the best honor in sports. The Kids' Choice Sports Blimp!
Okay, so that guy up in the corner who barged into the shot, that is our miniature co-executive producer, Jason. Jason Trift, who's right here. Who's right here. What happened? What exactly happened?
The show was starting, and we had to get to our seats. And
you've never been on the set of a television show
Well,
before.
no one stopped us. We just went. We just
Now,
started
correct
going.
me if I'm wrong, but didn't you also once somewhat disrupt the Ellen show? Well, let's look at the tape.
First time they've ever danced not on shag carpet. This is, and of course, this man, unfortunately, we know who he is. He is actually... He's married to one of our staff members, so what a lucky woman she is.
Nicely done. Do you have plans to ruin any other shows in the near future?
Just this
one. Okay, good. All right. Hey, have you seen the new pictures of Pluto? NASA's New Horizons, which sounds like a rehab facility, but it's a spacecraft, released some close-up photos of Pluto this week. And they did this. They took these photos in a fascinating way. They built a 3 billion mile long selfie stick, and they just this is Pluto. It has a craterless plain that's it's like 100 million years old, which is very, very young. They know Pluto is young because you can see here it has bad skin, it has acne. Actually, that's Pluto's moon. This was all over the news this weekend. It's a big deal. It's something we should be proud of, but I wonder if people are paying attention to things like this. So we sent a camera and a crew out onto Hollywood Boulevard today to ask people if they saw the astronaut land on Pluto this morning. Now, an astronaut did not land on Pluto this morning, or last week, or the afternoon. But what do you know? People said they saw it anyway on this special Pluto edition of Eyewitness News.
Hi, what's your name and where are you from?
Roberta, and I'm from Mexico, Monterrey.
Roberta, did you watch the live stream of the first American landing on Pluto this morning?
Yeah.
Where were you when you watched it?
I was shopping. I watched it on my phone.
Oh, cool. What did you think of it?
It was, like, really weird. I didn't expect it, so I was like...
Was it exciting or a little scary when he took off his helmet and did that little fake out and held his breath when he first landed?
I was scared for him, really. Like, I was just like, how is he doing that?
As you know, the first American landed on Pluto this morning.
Right.
What went through your mind when you saw the American flag planted on Pluto soil?
There's a couple of things going through my mind, actually. There's a huge accomplishment, being that this is the first time we've been able to take pictures on the planet Pluto, but also being able to realize just how close we are to discovering so many different things throughout the world and throughout the country.
Were you surprised by how tropical Pluto was in that footage? Like how lush and green parts of the planet were on the equatorial region?
Yeah, I really didn't expect that to be like that, so it was like really surprising.
Tell me about the beaches, about the palm trees.
They were like really green, and the water was like weird, so I mean it was Pluto, so
it was red water.
Yeah, so it had to be red water, of course. But it was like, I don't know, like I just wanted to go with him, and you know.
What do you think about Major Tom bringing his dog along for the ride, his trusty companion?
I think it's sweet. You know, for some companionship is always good, so I think it was really sweet.
Even though he had to ultimately slaughter and consume the dog?
Yeah, I think that was a little bit intense, but things happen, so...
Sometimes you gotta eat your dog.
Yeah, that's right.
As you know, this morning the first American landed on Pluto. What was going through your mind when you saw him plant the American flag on the
No, he didn't land on Pluto.
Why not?
Because Pluto is over 1 billion miles away, and that damn, what a piano-shaped aircraft, it's like 76,000 miles away from Pluto, so ain't no man landing on Pluto, but they got somebody ashes on that spacecraft going around Pluto. He never landed.
You're the smartest person I've spoken to today. In a weird way. Thank you.
We found one. Terrific show tonight. We have music from Tori Kelly. Nat Wolff is here, and we'll be right back with Charlize Theron. So please.
Jimmy Kimmel Live is brought to you by Chic Hydra. With a great shave, epic things happen. Check them out at epicbarbershop.com.
Hi there, tonight from the movie Paper Towns, Nat Wolff is with us, and then a native of this state, California. This is her debut album. It's titled Unbreakable Smile. Tori Kelly from the beautiful new Samsung outdoor stage. Tomorrow night, very funny, Dennis Leary will be here from the U.S. Women's World Cup, the championship team. Alex Morgan will join us, and we'll have music from Big Talk. And later this week, Ed Helms, Colin Farrell, Brie Larson, and music from Joss Stone and Meghan Trainor, too. So join us for all those shows. After barreling one arm through a post-apocalyptic wasteland in Mad Max Fury Road, our first guest returns to present day, fully limbed in the new thriller Dark Places. It is available now exclusively on DirecTV and opens to theaters August 7th. Please say hello to Charlize Theron, everybody. I'll try not to infect you.
Stay over there.
The doctor said as long as I don't get any fluids on anybody.
Oh, God. Well, okay, in that case,
okay.
I think we'll be okay. You know, this thing with the shark in Jeffreys Bay, in South Africa, which is where I'm from. It's so crazy how you forget things, and then things can spark memories for you in adulthood that you just go, wow, I was crazy. When I was a kid, I used to swim in those waters all the time. And regularly, like I would say once a day, the lifeguard would blow his whistle, and that just automatically meant everybody had to leave the water. And we'd just kind of swim out to the edge, and we'd stand on the sand, and we would watch the waves go up and watch the sharks swim by, and then another whistle would be blown, and I was like, okay, go on back. And we did. We did. Isn't that insane?
That is insane. That's really crazy. That happened to me with my mom at Jones Beach in New York. She was out swimming and I remember I was a little kid, and the lifeguard would do this and blow the whistle. That's the shark. And she was way out in the water, and my sister and I were terrified because my mother, of course, didn't listen to the whistle and just kept swimming and swimming. And also, sharks are not stupid. They learn about the whistle.
Oh, they do?
So they'll hear the whistle and they'll go, oh, we'll wait for the whistle. The second whistle is when we swoop in and eat everybody.
Of course, of course.
Did anyone ever get attacked by a shark while you were there?
It was well, I don't want to say regular, but it's a lovely place. Please go. I don't want to single-handedly kill the tourism for Jeffreys Bay, but it's beautiful. But there was a lot of attacks. And I remember... And I never thought about this when I was a kid. We'd be doing the 6-hour drive home, and everybody in the car would be talking about some guy who was attacked. And I never thought, yeah, I'm in that water. Like, that could have been me.
That's really, really crazy.
Isn't that bizarre?
Yeah, it is. And then, well, you know what? If in a way, though, for Mad Max, if you had lost an arm, it would have helped you with your performance.
Yes.
I love that movie, by the way. Whoa, that was fantastic. I mean, you were great. I assume you really had to shave your head for the movie. That wasn't just
yeah, I did. I was excited by it. I mean, I just had to figure out how to fit into a boy's world and not stick out like a sore thumb, and I just didn't know how to do that with a ponytail.
Do you have fear ever that you're like, oh, maybe the hair won't ever come back and I'll be bald?
Is that what happens when you shave your head? Really?
I don't know. Some people...
I thought that was your eyebrows.
Well,
people said that to me when I did Monster. I shaved my eyebrows, and they're like, you did not shave them. And I was like, yeah, I did. They're like, they're never coming back. You have to pluck them.
How long do eyebrows take to come back?
They were there. They were back pretty. I might just be really hairy. I don't know. I don't even remember it taking that long.
Yeah, well, that's good because sharks don't like hair. It chokes them. Did you want to be an actor when you were a kid swimming around with the sharks? Is that something that you were interested in then?
I don't think I quite understood the concept of being an actor, but I loved movies. I loved movies. My mom bought a Beta. Did you say Beta or Beta?
Betamax.
Betamax, yes. We had a Betamax instead of a good old VCH, and my mom was convinced that, you know...
Is that what you guys called it, a VCH?
What is it?
We call it a VCR or a VHS.
VHS, that's
VHS, yeah.
Oh.
I don't know. I thought maybe it was a thing over there.
I'm a little jet lagged, okay, you guys?
So you got the beta, you got the VCH.
Yeah, the VCH. Which, hey, my mom was telling me that beta was like the way to go. So maybe she was right because I can't even say the other one's name.
That's what they said. Betamax was the better one, but then there were no tapes.
Cut to about a year later, there were only 3 movies that you could rent on beta.
What were they?
Dirty Dancing, Splash, and Overboard.
Oh, really?
Good movie.
Goldie Hawn
that
and
was it. Yeah.
Kurt Russell movie.
Yeah, it explains my career, doesn't it?
So you watch those movies over and over again?
Over and over. That was all I had. Those were the only 3 I could really watch until my mom finally came, you know.
Do Kurt Russell and or Goldie Hawn know that you watched them repeatedly as a kid?
I don't know. Well, now they do.
Oh, yeah.
Now they do. I love that movie.
The last time you were here, President Obama was here.
Oh, God.
And there was a funny thing that happened. We were kind of like, where's President Obama? And he was chatting with you. And then we were like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
This is like...
What did you talk about?
Oh, my God. This is terrible, Jimmy. This is
What do you mean it was terrible?
I have this thing that happens when I get nervous, where I get so nervous that I will say something really inappropriate, and I can't. It's like Tourette's in a weird way. Like I don't know how to stop it. It just like, oh, it's like verbal diarrhea. And I was really nervous because I was kind of hiding in the back, and then somebody from his team like came to get me and like ushered me over to him, and he like waited to meet with me, and like everything had stopped around his world to meet me, and it was just a lot of pressure, and I was really nervous.
Yeah.
And he was so complimentary about you and how grateful he was to be on the show, and you know, that he felt like being on the show, he felt like he was reaching a demographic that, you know, just the younger, you know, Hollywood just, yeah. And he didn't say it like this, so please don't quote me because I'm not quoting the president, but something like that. And then there was this pause, and I didn't know what to say, and all I could come up with was, well, if you're looking for a different demographic, I can take you to a strip club.
Oh, my goodness.
It's terrible. Terrible. Terrible.
And he didn't go?
No, he...
I would have got right into Air Force One and said, drop us off at the nearest strip club immediately.
And Michelle Obama is going to kill me. No, he was so gracious and funny, and he could tell that I was really nervous, and he was nothing but lovely. And then I couldn't sleep for like 4 weeks because every time I closed my eyes, I went, oh my God, I said that. Oh my God, why did I say that?
Well, that's a pretty great thing to say to the president. You should say that to all the presidents as they go on. Eventually, you know, there are some that, you know, if you'd said that to President Clinton, you'd probably still be at that strip club. Charlize Theron is here. Her movie is called Dark Places. We'll be right back.
I know you killed them.
No, I did not.
Is that what you said back then?
Of course not. I was a teenage boy in a house full of girls. At school, I was the kid that nobody paid attention to. In that courtroom, people were scared of me. I was a badass.
A badass who killed his family.
Libby, I was a fool. I did not kill Mom or Debbie or Michelle.
Then why have you never filed for an appeal? You like it so much in there, you want to stay there? You know what I think? I think you're full of
That is Charlize Theron in Dark Places. I like that movie. I thought it was really good. Very creepy. Well, tell everybody what it's about.
Well, it's from the author Gillian Flynn, who wrote Gone Girl, and so it's in that world of you know, the suspense thriller, but great, interesting, effed up characters.
Some Satanism thrown in there.
Yeah, it's always interesting. You know, when you've done this for a long time and you read scripts, you can kind of predict how, as thrillers, I don't know, you get suspicious, I guess. And this was literally the first script I've ever read in my entire life where I could not figure out who did it.
Well, before, usually you know.
Yeah.
I never know. Sometimes people will tell me the ending of a movie, and then even then I don't know.
You still don't get it?
Even then I forget, and I go, oh yeah, now I remember somebody did ruin that movie. There's no spoiler alert for me at all, because I think I become so absorbed in the movie.
Well,
either that or I'm dumb. I don't know what exactly is going on.
First. Okay.
Do you know that across the street we have that wax museum, Madame Tussauds Wax Museum, and they have a figure of you, which we tried to bring over here, but it's being cleaned or something right now. So we'll put that up on the screen.
What does that say about my wax figure?
It's dirty.
Clean?
You have the dirty wax figure is what you have. So this is the, that is your wax figure.
Wow.
I don't think it really looks that much like you, though, I have to say.
I don't think I've ever had that hair, which is really quite impossible
They should
to
shave
imagine.
its head or something like that. It looks a little bit like Deborah Norville, I think.
It's so bizarre to see something like that of yourself.
Did they do a scan of you for this?
You know what is exact is the thumb.
The thumb?
The thumb is exact.
So they nailed the thumb.
The super long thumb.
Do you have a long thumb?
Now I'm going to show up my freaky things. I do have a very long thumb.
Which one? Both of them? Or?
Yeah, they're both very, well, this one's a little longer.
It doesn't look that long to me.
Really? It doesn't? Well,
no.
Bodily fluids. Sit down.
Okay, yeah, all right, sorry. This is a convenient excuse. Well,
it's very nice. It's very nice.
I think it's very interesting that this movie is on DirecTV first, which is something you don't see very often.
Yeah, I think it's great when you just, when you make, it takes a lot of time and effort to make movies, and the more people who get to enjoy it and experience it, the better.
That's what Guillermo always tells me. Right, Guillermo?
That's right, Jimmy.
Thank you very much. Well, Charlize Theron, everybody. Dark Places, watch it. It's exclusively on DirecTV and in theaters on August 7th. Thank you very much, Charlize. We're right back with Nat Wolff.
Portions of Jimmy Kimmel Live are brought to you by Schick Hydra. With a great shave, epic things happen. Check them out at epicbarbershop.com.
Last summer, our next guest made you cry like a baby chopping onions in The Fault in Our Stars starting Friday. He's back for more pure teen emotion in the movie Paper Towns. Please welcome Nat Wolff. Welcome. I'm sorry for the fist bump. I normally would shake hands or even kiss you.
I'm a total germaphobe, so yeah.
Are you?
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
so thank you. Yeah.
So, oh, wow. So that's going to be a problem for you because this movie is going to be one of those things where especially the young ladies go crazy and then chase you everywhere and want to put their mouths on you. And the germs.
Well, thank you for not doing that.
Teenage girls are the dirtiest of all carriers. They go to school and then they chew gum and they are texting all the time. They touch.
So there's just a lot of.
You better get over
a lot of Purell and yeah.
This is your first talk show, I understand.
Yeah, this is my first talk show.
Well, it's going great so far.
I'm glad to be doing it with you. I'm a big fan of your show.
Oh, that's nice. I can tell the audience really likes you already. All right. At a certain point, it becomes insulting, though.
Yeah. All right.
Mickey Rourke mentioned you the last time he was on.
Yeah,
this show.
yeah. I worked with Mickey, and while we were working on the movie, he went on the show and he texted me to say, "Hey, watch me. I'm going to talk about you, kid." And I saw him on the show, and he said this really nice thing about me to you, and he said, he was being very complimentary, this young actor who's really up and coming, I really like, and then he called me Nate Wolff, which is like not my name, very close, so close. And at that point of knowing Mickey, I was like, good enough. So that's what it's like working with Mikey. This movie with Mickey is a road trip movie, right? Which means you guys are in a car together, right? Yeah, basically my only experience driving had been I was playing a character who was drunk driving in a movie, and I learned to drive pretending to drunk drive. So basically that's all I had done. And then it was I hadn't had a license until Paper Towns, this movie that's coming out. And so that's also a road trip movie. So I keep getting cast in these road trip movies, and I'm literally the worst driver that ever existed.
Why are you a bad driver?
I have all the things that make a bad driver, like no coordination, and I don't know left from right, and I space out a lot. And on my driving test, I literally went left when I was supposed to go right, which is unheard of. And somehow I passed. I got my license about 3 days before we started shooting, and I passed by like 2 points, and they gave me, when I showed up on set, I didn't even have my license, I just had a receipt that said I had a license that I would show to the producers.
And that's legal? That's okay?
Probably not, yeah, probably. There's going to be some lawsuits.
They had Mickey Rourke, so they probably, they had enough problems to deal with. Is Mickey Rourke crazy?
I think you could answer that as well. Yeah, I think a lot of those great actors are crazy.
Who else is crazy? Yeah. Tell us some other crazy people you've worked with. Robert De Niro, you worked with him, right?
I worked with Robert De Niro. I definitely want to say that Mickey's crazier than Robert De Niro. But a good crazy. Yeah, I worked with Robert De Niro, I had just, worked with a couple people that had been super difficult, and
oh, really?
Yeah, and I'd been not even difficult, just as much like I've been really nervous to work with them, and
Okay.
I didn't, and so I thought I'd be kind of quiet, when I'd go on set with Robert De Niro, and I didn't, he had no reason to talk to me, so I didn't feel like, and so I was kind of being, we did a scene together, kind of like this, and we're just talking to each other, and I sat back, and then I was chewing a piece of gum, and the first thing he said to me was like, "Hey, what are you gonna do with that gum?" And I was like, I don't know, I was thinking of spitting it out before the take, and he goes, what we used to do when I was a kid, we used to put it under the table. And I was like, cool, yeah. And then he kind of looked around and be like, it's all clear, go for it, And so I just took it out and I put it under the table, and he goes, I can't believe you just did, that's a set. This kid just put his gum on the set. And I was like, oh my God. Suddenly all like the taxi, all the characters from Taxi Driver and Raging Bull are going through my head, and I'm like, I'm dead.
You got hazed by Robert De Niro.
I got hazed, but really he was just trying to make me feel comfortable,
Yeah,
nice
well, yeah, and he's killing a little time.
Killing a little time, he's bored, yeah.
So this movie is by John Green, who wrote The Fault in Our Stars.
I say he's made more people cry than most high school bullies. Yeah.
And that's kind of I know, like, for my niece, this is the biggest deal in the world.
Yeah, it's amazing. These stories that are like there's no car chases, there's no zombies, it's just about a couple of people.
You can't drive.
I can't drive, yeah.
There's no gum.
There's no gum. No, but and then it's on this big stage, and everybody's going to see it, and I'm super lucky to.
So you come from, I guess, a showbiz family.
Right.
Your mom was on 30-something, which I have to say, when I was a kid and I would watch the show, and I watched it regularly with my parents, it made me think, never get married. It really did, because it's so depressing.
My parents actually met, and then got married on a talk show. They met on the Arsenio Hall show because my dad was the
Your dad was the band leader on that show.
My dad came and hit on my mom in the hair and makeup room, and then when he left, my mom said, "Does he come in and like hit on all the actresses like this?" And they said, "No, this is the first time he's ever been in here." So he had like a big crush on her, I guess, from before, or they were just good covers.
Wow, that's something else.
Yeah,
maybe Cleto will hit on your mom next. Yeah. Sure. Wow.
Yeah. I've actually been here before.
To our show.
I've been to your show before when I was 10 years old, and I had like a Manny, a babysitter, a guy who said he was going to see his friend who worked in your staff. I think he was dating, or I think I was kind of like on a date, basically.
Really?
Yeah, but I went here and like NERD was playing and Jason Biggs was the guest, and I was excited because NERD swore in their records and I wasn't allowed to have them because I was 10, and I got to hear him here. And but the thing that I loved the most about being here was that you had this huge mountain of caramel. And I was eating them with my brother, and we ate this huge mountain of caramel. And I said, "Why do they have all this caramel?" And they said, "Because Jimmy loves caramel." And I've kept it in my head ever since. I actually brought you some caramel because I heard that you like caramel.
I really don't like caramel that much. I mean, it's a nice thought, but I'm not necessarily.
You're like breaking my childhood dreams.
By the way, this is not caramel. These are Werther's Originals.
No, it's a caramel flavor. It's a caramel flavor.
There's a big difference, kid. You got a lot to learn. Well, congratulations on all your success. The movie, I'm not going to touch you. I don't want to make you sick.
Right.
Nat Wolff, everybody. It's not Nate Wolff. It's Nat Wolff, and his movie's called Paper Towns. It opens Friday. We'll be right back with Tori Kelly.
The Jimmy Kimmel Live concert series is presented by Samsung. The Jimmy Kimmel Live concert series is presented by Samsung.
I'd like to thank Charlize Theron, Nat Wolff. I want to apologize to Matt Damon. We ran out of time. Nightline is next, but first, this is a CD, Unbreakable Smile. Here with the song Should Have Been Us, Tori Kelly.
Walking around with my head down, but I can't hide with these high heels on. Downtown in the big crowd, but it's just you that my mind is on. Dressed up, got my heart messed up. You got yours and I got mine. It's unfair that I still care, and I wonder where you are tonight. And it could be different. Hey, maybe we missed it. Yeah, it could be different. Or it could. It should have been us. Should have been the fire. Should have been the perfect storm. It should have been us. Could have been the real thing. Now we'll never know for sure. Hey, I'm crazy, but amazing. Baby, we both know it should have been us. It should have been us. Oh, back and forth like a tug of war. What's it all for? Do I want it? drove me mad. Now and then I pretend that it's you when I close my eyes. You got yours, I got mine, but I wonder where you are tonight. Should've been a fire, should've been the perfect storm. Should've been us, could've been the real thing. I will never know for sure. Yeah, we were crazy, but amazing. Maybe we both knew it should've been us. It should've been. Hey, should've been us. Should've been. It should've been Maybe we missed it, yeah. It could be different. It could. Oh, it should have been. Yeah. It should have been us. Ooh, yeah. Now we'll never know for sure. We were crazy, but amazing. Maybe we both knew it should have been us. It should have been us. Should have been us. Should have been. It should have been us. It should have been us.